Please be aware that this training film contains images of realistic casualty simulation. Avon and Somerset Police have declared a major incident after a crash on the A39 in Bridgwater.
From above, the incredible force of this explosion is apparent.
In the initial moments at major incidents such as these, casualty numbers will exceed the number of responders, leading to delays in triage and treatment. This has led to the development of a new triage system. 10-second triage, known as TST, has been trialled and evaluated to be used by all emergency service responders and others who are trained in its use to save lives at the scene of a major incident or a multiple casualty incident. The changes to the triage tools have been part of a 3-year project led by NHS England and have been through rigorous research and field testing covering qualitative and quantitative aspects. 10-second triage is a quick and effective triage tool that can be used by all emergency services, incorporating the changes that were recommended in the Manchester Arena Inquiry Volume 2. It will start rolling out in April 2023 with the view that all responders will be using this within a year and that it will replace all previous primary tools.
Okay, right, can I get a bandage on you? All right. So, okay, deep breath to me, deep breath.
TST has been proven to be a quick and effective way to identify seriously injured casualties and significantly improves the time in which key life-saving interventions, such as stopping bleeding and opening an airway, happen, therefore improving casualty outcomes.
Hello mate, can you hear me?
Unlike earlier triage algorithms, TST does not use physiological variables to categorize a casualty into a level of priority for treatment and extrication. TST can be used by all emergency services whenever the number of casualties exceeds the resources available. So, for example, first on scene at a car crash with several casualties and one police officer or paramedic. TST is the first tool for all multi-casualty events, whatever the injury. It's a universal algorithm for all incidents. So, if you are a solo responder at an RTC with several casualties, you will start with TST. It's not just for use at terrorist attacks and major incidents. It can be used at a building collapse and so on. 10-second triage. Is the casualty walking? If they are walking, then the casualty is a P3. Apply a P3 triage band. If the casualty is not walking, then do they have any severe bleeding? If they do have any severe bleeding, then apply direct pressure. Or use a tourniquet. Or pack the wound if appropriate. This casualty is a P1. Apply a P1 triage band. If they do not have severe bleeding, then is the casualty talking? If they are talking, does the casualty have a penetrating injury to the front or rear of their torso? Examine their neck, collars, armpits, chest, groin, as well as their back and buttocks. If a penetrating injury is discovered in this search, then the casualty is a P1. Apply a P1 triage band. If no penetrating injuries are found, then the casualty is a P2. Apply a P2 triage band. If they are not talking, then open the airway and assess if the casualty is breathing. If the casualty is breathing, then place them in the recovery position and apply a P1 triage band. If the casualty is not breathing, then place them in a recovery position and apply a silver not breathing triage band. Only start CPR if resources allow. On the rear of the triage card is the methane message and a tally chart for the numbers of casualties in each category. This representation is designed to show an overview of an incident with multiple casualties. The first emergency services on scene will perform TST. Anyone who is uninjured is removed to a place of relative safety, but note that some of the uninjured may wish to stay with injured friends or relatives and may be able to assist you with casualty care. Other emergency services arrive and continue using TST. Each casualty will be identified as P1, P2, P3 or not breathing, using the checked border triage bands. As more ambulance staff arrive, the Casualty Collection Point, or CCP, is set up. Once TST has been completed, casualties are moved in priority order to the CCP as soon as possible. Police and fire resources may be required to assist in this process. The walking wounded, or P3s, are sent to the CCP where they will arrive first, as they can walk there themselves. Next, the P1s and some P2s are moved into CCP. Dependent on injuries, risk assessment and resources, some P1s may bypass CCP and go straight for immediate transportation to hospital. It's essential that the ambulance service reassess those categorised as not breathing. The ambulance service may then go on to use the Major Incident Triage tool, MIT.
So I'm now happy we've got enough resource on scene. We can move from the 10-second triage to the Major Incident Triage tool.
As soon as resources allow, ambulance responders reassess those tagged as not breathing, re-tagging them as P1 or dead appropriately, those who were triaged as dead or formally roll. Then the time is noted. MIT will take place at the CCP or CCS, if established, upon direction of the incident commander, after taking advice from the medical advisor.
We've got critical care now in the CCP. They will start re-triaging. MIT has been instituted. We've got a number of P1s and we want to work out the highest priority of those P1s.
The decision to conduct MIT will be based on casualty numbers, responder numbers, incident type and the mechanism of injury, and estimated time until transportation to definitive care. Every incident will be different, and commanders need to be confident and competent in making the decision to conduct MIT or to keep casualties triaged with TST tags. It may be possible, when responder numbers are high and casualties are low, to stop using triage and revert to standard casualty treatment. Resus may be carried out if sufficient resources are available or the decision is made to revert to business as usual. When there are sufficient numbers of healthcare staff on scene, casualties are re-triaged using the Major Incident Triage tool known as MIT. Clinicians will complete triage cards and label the casualties appropriately. Major Incident Triage tool. Does the casualty have catastrophic bleeding? If yes, then apply a pressure dressing, a tourniquet, or a hemostatic packing. If hemorrhage control has been carried out under TST, then ensure that this is adequate. Apply a further tourniquet if needed, or remove those that are unnecessary. This casualty is a P1. If there is no catastrophic bleeding, then is the casualty walking? If yes, then the casualty is a P3. If the casualty is not walking, then are they breathing? To assess this, open the airway if required. For children under 12 years who are not breathing, you should consider 5 rescue breaths if hypoxia may be the cause for arrest. If the casualty is not breathing, then they are dead and should have a dead triage label applied with the time noted. If the casualty is breathing, then does the casualty respond to voice? If the answer is no, then place the casualty in the recovery position. They become a P1. If the casualty responds to your voice, then are they over 2 years old? If the answer is no, then the casualty is a P1. If the answer is yes, then is their breathing rate between 12 and 23? No? Then they are a P1. If yes, is the heart rate 100 or more? Yes? They become a P1. If the answer is no, then they are a P2. There is a tally and methane aid memoir on the reverse of the card.
Adult female, isolated left open tib-fib fracture. She's had a sedation, it's packaged, it's not bleeding.
Advice from enhanced clinical care teams or a clinician will assist in the decision to prioritise P1 casualties for rapid transportation from the scene. They will also advise on when triage should cease and normal casualty care should resume. There may be circumstances where MIT is not implemented for all casualties. This is a command decision, which is dependent on resource availability and senior clinical advice if available.